Part 4. We're going to again look into the original trilogy and work out what characters we'd expect to see in the prequels. As we look more closely at these characters, we will also learn more about the events that will affect the story. Once we combine the stage, the story, and the characters, we'll have all the elements to make a great Star Wars prequel trilogy. In the original trilogy, we learn quite a few things about Anakin and his relationship with Obi-Wan.
Anakin was a good friend. When I first knew him, your father was already a great pilot, but I was amazed how strongly the Force was with him. I took it upon myself to train him as a Jedi. I thought that I could instruct him just as well as Yoda. I was wrong.
Firstly, we learn that Obi-Wan and Anakin were good friends, and as Obi-Wan retells the story, we can feel the warmth for his old friend. We also find out that Anakin was a great pilot and strong with the Force before they met. Obi-Wan also mentions that he took Anakin on as an apprentice and thought he could teach him as well as Yoda. From this, we learn Obi-Wan met an already established Anakin who is a pilot and strong with the Force. From this meeting, Obi-Wan takes him on as an apprentice, assumedly as part of Obi-Wan's idealistic crusade. From this starting point, being strong with the Force, we learn from Yoda that Anakin becomes a powerful Jedi.
Father! Powerful Jedi was he! Powerful Jedi!
Yoda's explanation leads us to believe that Anakin and Yoda knew each other well. We learn that Anakin becomes a Jedi Knight and fights alongside Obi-Wan.
You fought in the Clone Wars?
Yes, I was once a Jedi Knight, the same as your father.
Yet Anakin was an apprentice or a learner when he left Obi-Wan. Could apprentices be Jedi Knights? During this time, we see that Anakin in fact becomes the best star pilot in the galaxy, a cunning warrior, perhaps a hero within the Clone Wars.
He was the best star pilot in the galaxy, and a cunning warrior.
Anakin, however, was angry. Again, Yoda indicates a strong insight into Anakin. This anger, it seems, leads him to the dark side.
Much anger in him. Like his father.
Obi-Wan uses the words seduced by the dark side. How was he seduced? It sounds as though Anakin tried to resist, but the pull was too strong.
Your father was seduced by the dark side of the Force. He ceased to be Anakin Skywalker and became Darth Vader. When that happened, the good man who was your father was destroyed.
We also learned that Obi-Wan thought he could turn Anakin back from the dark side, but he failed.
Obi-Wan once thought as you do. You don't know the power of the dark side. I must obey my master.
And this led to Anakin hunting down and destroying the Jedi Knights with the Empire.
A young Jedi named Darth Vader, who was a pupil of mine until he turned to evil, helped the Empire hunt down and destroy the Jedi Knights.
Obi-Wan, alongside Anakin, are the central characters of the prequels and one of our best sources of information. As we've seen before, Obi-Wan and Anakin were good friends.
And he was a good friend.
We learn that he changes his name to Ben before Luke was born. But why is this? Was it to escape the Empire?
Obi-Wan. Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time. A long time.
Also, we see that he owned R2-D2, but can't remember.
Well then, the droid does belong to you.
Don't seem to remember ever owning a droid.
We learn more about his time in the Clone Wars, and that he actually served as a general under Bail Organa.
General Kenobi, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars. Now he begs you to help him in his struggle against the Empire.
That he was taught by Yoda.
Was I any different when you taught me?
And he has a problem with the truth.
So what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
He again distorts the truth to serve his own purposes. Padme. We actually don't learn much about Padme, not even her name. All we know is that she bore twin children to Anakin, and that these children were unknown to him.
My father has it. I have it. And my sister
What else do we know? She was beautiful and kind, and died when Leia was young.
She died when I was very young.
What do you remember?
Just images, really. Feelings.
Tell me.
She was very beautiful. Kind, but sad.
But also that she was sad. What event or events made her sad? Palpatine, though one of our main antagonists, is relatively unknown. We know he's powerful with the Force and took control of Vader, seducing him to the dark side.
Underestimate the powers of the Emperor, or suffer your father's fate. You will.
Politically, he was also powerful, but not all-powerful, as it's not until the Death Star that he can take full control of the Republic and the galaxy.
How will the Emperor maintain control without the bureaucracy?
The regional governors now have direct control over their territories. Fear will keep the local systems in line. Fear of this battle station.
No one knows he's a Sith. Even Tarkin talks about Vader as a Jedi and not a Sith.
The Jedi are extinct. Their fire has gone out of the universe. You, my friend, are all that's left of their religion.
The Emperor also speaks about the future. Can he see into the future?
Everything is proceeding as I had foreseen.
Maybe he just has feelings like Luke does on Dagobah. If he sees into the future, he needs glasses, as it didn't quite work out for him. Another character who's a prominent antagonist in A New Hope is Tarkin. We'd expect to see Tarkin in the prequels as the right-hand man to the Emperor or a major ally. He's shown to be higher in rank than Vader, and we'd expect him to be instrumental in the growth of the Empire. We see this both as Tarkin gives orders to Vader.
Enough of this. Vader, release him.
As you wish.
And when Leia comments about Tarkin being responsible for Vader.
Governor Tarkin, I should have expected to find you holding Vader's leash.
Lastly, Tarkin seems to know a lot about Obi-Wan. This tells us that there was a direct connection between the two.
He is here.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. What makes you think so?
A tremor in the Force. The last time I felt it was in the presence of my old master.
Surely he must be dead by now.
We learn that Bail Organa is Leia's father.
Years ago, you served my father in the Clone Wars.
And eventually it's revealed that Leia is Luke's sister and has only been adopted by Bail Organa.
It's not like that at all. He's my brother.
Also, Bail Organa is assumedly a king, as Leia is his daughter and is a princess. And he is a key part of the rebellion, as demonstrated by the need to get the plans to him.
I have placed information vital to the survival of the rebellion into the memory systems of this R2 unit. My father will know how to retrieve it.
Obi-Wan must have had a strong relationship with Bail Organa, both after serving as a general in the Clone Wars, and especially in entrusting the life and secrecy of Leia with him. From this, we'd expect Bail Organa to be a central figure in the prequels. One of the other sources of information on Anakin comes to us from Owen and Beru. We see they speak intimately about Anakin, which tells us they all knew each other really well.
Luke's just not a farmer, Owen. He has too much of his father in him.
That's what I'm afraid of.
We don't know whether this means they're blood relatives, despite Luke referring to them as auntie and uncle, but there is definitely a relationship. We have also seen that Owen is quite reserved, as opposed to Obi-Wan and Anakin, who are more adventurous. R2-D2 is another character, or droid, we'd expect to see in the prequels. This is due to the claim that R2-D2 is owned by Obi-Wan.
He says that he is the property of Obi-Wan Kenobi, a resident of these parts, and it's a private message for him. Quite frankly, sir, I don't know what he's talking about. Our last master was Captain Antilles.
Was this because Leia transferred ownership whilst leaving her message? Or did Obi-Wan actually own R2-D2, when Jedi aren't meant to own anything? Perhaps he purchased the R2 unit for something specific, a secret mission maybe, then gave it away to Bail Organa or Captain Antilles afterwards. We are likely to see Yoda involved in the prequels, as he has a relationship with Obi-Wan and Anakin. We learn that Yoda is 900 years old.
When 900 years old you reach, look as good you will not.
He was a Jedi Master and taught Jedi for 800 years.
For 800 years have I trained Jedi. My own counsel will I keep.
And as we saw before, he knew Anakin and his anger.
Much anger in him. Like his father.
Was I any different when you taught me?
And lastly, that he was the master of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
There you will learn from Yoda, the Jedi Master who instructed me.
So that's a list of characters we'd expect to see in the prequels. Did I miss any? Some you don't agree with? Let me know in the comments. And next, we'll put the stage, the story, and the characters together to map out the central story of the prequels, as told by the original trilogy. Thanks, and catch you next time.